And welcome to our back to school blast.
We hope you thoroughly enjoyed this presentation.
Right, on the agenda for today, we're going to start with introduction so you can get to know your DDES community. And then we're going to go over an overview of instruction, and we're going to be talking about crew, expedition, math, and specials.
Following that, we'll move into a day in the life of your fourth grader and what you might experience on any given day. And finally, we'll wrap it up with a little bit of adventure and some business slides. On the left is me. I'm Billy. This is my first year at DDES, but I've been a teacher in the EL community for a long time, and I'm just so happy to be here. I'm loving meeting new colleagues and reconnecting with old professional friends from past years in my career.
Right, and on the right is me. My name is Tia Ziagos. I'm going to be teaching math for fourth grade this year. This is my second year at DDES and the second EL school that I'm working for. But I have been a teacher both in Colorado and South Korea for the last 7 years. Right. And now I would like to introduce everyone to our student support team. Our teaching assistant for fourth grade is CJ. He is amazing, and he's going to be splitting his time between my classroom and Billy's classroom this year.
And on the right, you will see the amazing Anna. Anna is a dedicated fourth grade paraeducator to one of the fourth graders in my crew, but her brilliance is spread throughout the team, and we are lucky to have her.
I would like to introduce everyone to Corinne. She's going to be the literacy interventionist for third through fifth grade this year.
And on the right, you see Mike. He is one of our special educators focused on the third to fifth grade band for this year.
All right, we're going to move into our daily lessons. For crew, the purpose of crew is to build relational character and habits of work. We start every morning off with a crew lesson, and for the past couple of days, we've been working on the ways of the blue bear and
What it really means to be crew, not passengers. You'll probably hear that saying a lot throughout the school, whether you have a kindergartner or a fifth grader or somewhere in between. We here at DDES are always aiming to be crew and not passengers. Maybe ask your child what that means to them. Following crew, my students stay with me in the morning for an expedition block, which Tia's crew will experience in the afternoon. Same content, same protocols, same targets every day. That's where we're exploring content through nonfiction texts, primary sources. We actually dig into a lot of literature as well in both of our expeditions. In the fall, as you'll see later, we are studying climate change. And in the spring expedition, we will be studying human migration, push and pull factors, and taking the perspectives of different groups of people. I'll keep going. Right below that, you'll see literacy intervention. This is a really targeted block. Tia just introduced Corinne to you. Corinne is a brilliant interventionist who will be doing a lot of screenings with our kids to get to know who they are and where they're coming into this year as readers. And I will be working with small groups while students who aren't participating in a small group at any given moment will be practicing their independent reading skills, working on fluency and comprehension.
All right, then moving into math. This is the subject that I will be doing with all of our fourth graders, and the purpose of our math lessons is to develop fluency and conceptual understanding, analyzing patterns and relationships. So we have already started our curriculum for this year. We've been working on factor pairs, prime numbers, and composite numbers. We do something called CGI, which is cognitively guided instruction. We also refer to it as problem solving. So students are going to hear a math story problem for this, and then they will be able to pick a strategy that works for them in order to solve it.
Finally, solitude is one of the design principles of EL education. It's often combined with the word reflection, but solitude happens immediately following our lunch block in the middle of the day, gives everyone, students and adults in the building, a chance to kind of get settled and just reset for that last afternoon push of learning with a quiet choice that's good for the mind and good for the body.
All right, during crew, we already talked about it a little bit. Here's a little more information about it. So each morning we teach lessons to support the social emotional learning of our students. These lessons are adaptive and based on crew needs throughout the year. We also work to apply these skills and strategies throughout the school day. Many of these lessons are based on DDES's Blue Bear traits, which are tenacity, compassion, craftsmanship, self-discipline, and courage. If your student if your student has been going to TDS for a while now, they should be able to talk about all of these traits. So why don't you ask them about them?
And especially look for them staying alive even outside of the school walls. We believe those traits are absolutely applicable to all things in life. So just be on the lookout for those. When it comes to learning expeditions, which is one of the kind of unique foundations of EL, which actually is derived from expeditionary learning, we dive deep. Oftentimes you'll hear the term depth over breadth. As I mentioned before, we're going to be going deep into the current reality that is climate change, hopefully inspiring our students to become agents of change along those lines. And then in the spring, we'll be digging into human migration, talking about push and pull factors. Our guiding questions will be rooted in those. What pulls people to move, what pushes people away from areas and causes movement. Will be specifically focused on the contiguous United States and North America at that time. Case studies, those are just smaller chunks in which we can go deeper into one area of that broader content. The projects are things created along the way that will eventually culminate in the final product. So lots of semantics there, but projects will be happening the whole time in the interest of developing and creating a final product that is really based in local authenticity with appropriate levels of complexity to meet those fourth grade standards. As I mentioned, the first expedition is climate change. There's a lot here, so I'm not going to read it to you. You can always go back, rewatch the slideshow, pause it, and get in touch with me if you have any questions. Again, that's Billy. Spring expedition, lots of information. Go ahead and check it out. Pause it if you need to, and hit me up with any questions you have. Always happy to communicate, which you'll see a slide about later. Thanks.
All right, moving into a little bit more of math. So the core curriculum that we are using here at DDS is called Illustrative Math. This is the second year that we are using Illustrative Math, or IM. I already talked about our intervention block, which is also known as CGI, or problem solving. So as we're getting into math, we are going to be using some different resources, some worksheets, some classroom resources. Students are going to be practicing a lot of multiplication. All right, and as I already said before, we do take a problem-solving approach to mathematics. Here's just a little more information about the things that I already went over, such as our curriculum and our intervention block. All right. Also, in our newsletters that we're going to be sending out bi-weekly, I will be including some family unit overviews. This is just an example of what one might look like. It is not necessarily applicable to fourth grade, but the ones that we are going to be including have some fun activities and some information about what we're going to be learning in class and some ways that you might be able to practice math at home with your student.
And also in those newsletters, you can expect to see what's happening, every couple of weeks, as Tia said, in Expedition. I'll keep you abreast of targets, guiding questions, and any projects that are in the works. As well, anything pertinent that comes up that I think all families should know that's happening in literacy intervention. It'll be right there in those newsletters. So please do take time to check those out when you see them in your inbox.
All right, specials at DDES. If you've been part of our school community for a while, you know that we have movement, which is taught by Z, Creation Lab, which is taught by Reeves, and music. We do have an outside company that comes in every Friday for music, and the topics will be rotating. I do believe we are kicking off fourth grade music this year with some guitar lessons.
Sweet. And now, put on your fourth grade hat. We're going to get into a day in the life of your student. Lots here, but you'll notice that both Billy's and Tia's crews do begin with that crew block, kind of grounding in the guiding principles of EL, what it means to be crew, not passengers, and focusing on those ways of the Blue Bear. From there, Tia's students stay with her for math. My students stay with me for expedition. They go into their appropriate intervention blocks, still in that home room, as we might call it. And then we have our first switch of the day. Children will pass into the other classroom to receive that other intervention block before moving into specials, recess, lunch, and that solitude time to reset for the afternoon, where we flip-flop those main content blocks before students return to their homerooms at 2:25 for some choice, closing routines, oftentimes classroom jobs, getting packed up, and ideally out to dismissal right when you expect to see us there at 3 o'clock.
And just to touch a little bit more on arrival and dismissal times. So Monday through Thursday, students should be arriving between 7:50 and 8:05 a.m. And our dismissal times are between 3 o'clock and 3:10 p.m. And then on Fridays, there's just a slight shift. Students should be arriving between 7:45 and 8 o'clock a.m. And dismissal, since it is an early release day every Friday, will happen between 12:45 and 1 p.m.
All right, and as mentioned before, expect those communications through newsletters to come out every couple of weeks. Those will be coming through that Reachwell app. So if you haven't checked that out, pay attention on that next slide. There's a few steps to get you set up. All of DDES communication will be happening through Reachwell unless Tia or I deem it really necessary to give you a phone call, save us both the time of long emails. If it is probably a matter that couldn't be handled in just a sentence or two or a short paragraph, that phone call might be the best fit. And then when you see us around the building, please do reach out. Or if we catch you at dismissal, that's an easy chance for us to quickly catch up in person. As always, and using that Reachwell app, please do reach out if you have a need that you would like addressed with our team, and we can make sure we can schedule an in-person meeting and have a little face-to-face chat about any questions or concerns.
Right, adventure trips at DDES. If you have been here for a while, you know that our adventure trips are a very important part of our school community. So fourth grade, for our fall trip, we are going to be going to Rocky Mountain National Park. My crew is going to be attending from September 16th through 18th, and Billy's crew is going to be attending from September 18th through the 20th. And as you know, Curtis is our main adventure person. He will be leading all of our adventure trips.
And in the spring, we will be heading up to the Vail Pass area, just past Copper Mountain, if you're familiar with the I-70 corridor, to a very nice hut up on the Shrine Mountain Pass. The week of March 31st to April 4th will be the time when that trip happens. Still to be determined when Tia's crew will go, when Billy's crew will go. The weather, who knows? Colorado mountains in the spring. So we will make sure we prep children to have appropriate gear so that they can stay safe and comfortable on these trips, both in the fall and the spring. So be on the lookout for further details about our adventure trips.
All right. And volunteers. We are always looking for volunteers. If you are interested in helping out in my crew or Billy's crew, we would always appreciate someone coming in and making copies, cutting out materials. That would be a huge help for us. Additionally, chaperones for fieldwork and our adventure trips. We would love to have people volunteer and work with our crews. So if you're interested, please send myself or Billy a message via Reachwell and let us know if you're interested after this presentation. Additionally, you will have to have a background check completed through the front office. So if you have any questions about that, please reach out to us and we can put you in touch with the correct people.
All right, and here is another slide about that Reachwell app. Again, all of DDES communication, or at least 99% of it, will be happening through this app. So please do your best to get it set up and make sure you're accomplishing that final step of being verified. That will allow Tia and I to initiate one-on-one conversations with you and your family, and also allow you to initiate conversations with us. Go ahead and pause that slide if you need to, and we hope you get it set up. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. We hope this slide presentation finds you well and that you have a lovely rest of whatever day you watch this on.
We're looking forward to having a wonderful year in fourth grade with all of your amazing kiddos.